A very good evening and welcome to the national broadcast. I'm Malsha Dharmavardhana.
Good evening, I'm Lakshitendra Singha. To start off, we take a look at today's top stories. President instructs the officials to expedite the surveying of uncompleted land units. A conflict between Ranil and Sajid factions over the election symbol. An incentive payment for teachers stationed in schools in remote areas. School children instructed to be protected from the prevailing intense sun rays. World Health Organization states that the coronavirus outbreak is a serious global threat. On to those and other stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the officials of the Ministry of Lands to expedite the surveying of all land units during a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. A total of 14 million land units have been identified in the country, and 10% of the total identified land units have been surveyed during the past 20 years. The President has instructed the officials to expedite the surveying of the rest of the 90% of the land units and stated to take necessary steps to swiftly provide facilities to complete the task. Title certificates are set to be issued for all land units following the appropriate surveying process. Land disputes will also be resolved through the process. All relevant surveying information is set to be brought into a database. Secretary to the President, Dr. P.B. Jayasundara, was also present on this occasion.
The government has taken steps to initiate 100 mobile programs across the country to resolve land disputes. The aim of the initiative is to ensure the right of the farmer community for resolved land for agricultural purposes. The first mobile program of Nuwara district was held yesterday. 4 types of land units were identified in the district during the program, out of which the ownership of 800 hectares of land will be extended to farmer community in the next 3 months through an appropriate document. The program has been initiated in accordance to instructions provided to Land Restructuring Commission by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Land Commissioner General Chandra Herat said that present government has provided necessary instructions to arrange a program targeting the people residing in proximity borders of wildlife conservation state-owned lands, preserve land plots connected to state-owned land plots, and farmer community. Accordingly, she said that 2 programs were planned and will be initiated on this regard. She said the rights of the land will be extended for relevant communities following speedy yet appropriate methodologies under land regulations.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa returned to the island today after concluding his 4-day state visit to India. The Prime Minister, who engaged in a state visit to India accepting an invitation extended by the Indian Prime Minister, was accorded a warm welcome by the Indian government. Arriving in New Delhi on February 7th, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was accorded a warm welcome and a security similar for an Indian Prime Minister. The official welcoming ceremony of the Sri Lankan Prime Minister was held at Rashtrapati Bhavan, the official residence of the President of India. During the visit, the Prime Minister met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Indian President Ram Nath Kovind, Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, and Indian Minister of State for Human Resources Development Sanjay Shamrao Dhotre, and held bilateral talks. Also, the Prime Minister met with former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and former leader of Indian Congress Party Rahul Gandhi. Prime Minister Rajapaksa also visited historic religious sites in India, including Varanasi, Saranath, Bodh Gaya and Tirupati. A special flight was arranged by the Indian government for this purpose. The Prime Minister returned to the country today on a special flight arranged by the Indian government.
General Secretary of the United National Party, Akhila Viraj Karyavasam, says that the United National Party should contest the upcoming general election under the elephant symbol. The United National Party has contested in all general elections in the history under the symbol elephant. This issue has been lengthily discussed with the Working Committee of the United National Party convened yesterday. The opinion of the opposition leader Sajid Premadasa was to contest the upcoming election under the common symbol. However, the opinion of the majority of the Working Committee was to contest the election under the symbol elephant. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa have left the chambers following a heated situation occurred during the discussions.
Now, Sri Lanka Freedom Party says that they will extend their support to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in the upcoming general elections unconditionally. State Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara made these remarks during a press briefing. State Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara said that they have no concerns over the Pohottua party. He said that the Sri Lanka Freedom Podujana Alliance should be established. He added that the leaders of the parties formed a massive collective and that collective will not be changed over a symbol. He said that a stable majority government is required to take forward President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's vision. He said that this could become a reality through an expanded alliance.
The death toll from coronavirus epidemic in mainland China soared past 1,000 today, with a record daily rise in fatalities. The number of reported cases, however, has fallen almost 20% compared to the previous day.
The death toll from the coronavirus outbreak has shot over 1,000. More people died on Monday than any other day since the virus emerged in December. Chinese authorities confirmed the more than 100 deaths Tuesday morning. But in a small sign of hope, they also said the number of reported cases fell by almost 20% from the day before. One expert in China said there was hope of a turning point in the outbreak, but not everyone agrees. The World Health Organization chief voiced concern on Monday.
In recent days, we have seen some concerning instances of onward transmission from people with no travel history to China. The detection of this small number of cases could be the spark that becomes a bigger fire.
Infections outside China are still on the up. On Tuesday, a 3-month-old became Vietnam's 15th case. And in the US, a 13th case was reported on Monday in California. The CDC said the adult patient was among the roughly 800 US nationals evacuated from Wuhan who have been under federal quarantine. Back in China, the government is coming under increasing pressure for its handling of the outbreak. President Xi Jinping toured a neighborhood in Beijing on Monday. Let's not shake hands, the president quipped, before adding, we must have confidence. We will overcome this epidemic. Dozens of health officials across China have lost their jobs for failing to contain the virus's spread. Hubei province, the epicenter of the outbreak, announced 2 of its most high-profile dismissals yet. The Communist Party boss of Hubei's Health Commission and its director were sacked for unspecified reasons. They were dismissed while public anger has simmered over local authorities' response to the virus.
Meanwhile, the Health Ministry says that apart from the Chinese national, no other case of coronavirus infection has been reported in the country thus far. The ministry has stated that the media reports which claim that several individuals, including the employees of the Katunayake International Airport, have been contracted with the coronavirus are baseless. The Chinese national who was infected with the novel coronavirus has been fully recovered and present. However, the health authorities have said that they will continue to observe the condition of the patient. 200 suspected cases with coronavirus were examined in several hospitals in the country. However, it was determined that none of the suspected cases has been contracted with the virus. 15 individuals have been directed for examinations thus far. The health authorities dismissed the media reports circulating in social media platforms as baseless, citing that the complete attention has been directed on the prevention of coronavirus from entering into the country. A series of Pirit chanting ceremonies to recite the Kanpur Tripitaka of Bhutan has been organized in several places in the country. The aim of the program is to invoke blessings upon the Sri Lankans and the eradication of corona outbreak. A meeting on this regard was held at the Nagananda International Buddhist University in Manelwatta today. The meeting was held under the patronage of Venerable Dr. Bodhagama Chandimathera. A group of Buddhist monks from Bhutan also took part in the discussion. The Tripitaka chanting ceremony is set to commence at 9 a.m. from tomorrow till the 17th of February at the Nagananda International Buddhist University. This will be followed in the Mihintale sacred site from 19th to the 22nd of February, Sri Dalada Maligawa from 23rd to 25th of February, Sri Pada sacred site from 27th to 29th of February, and Situlpawa Rajamaha Vihare from 2nd to 3rd March. The Buddhist religious ceremony has been organized to mark the 1300th anniversary of the Sri Pada sacred site pilgrimage of Arahat Padmasambhava, who introduced Buddhism to Bhutan.
Minister Dallas Alahaperuma says that an allowance will be granted apart from the salaries for the teachers stationed in schools in rural and remote areas in the country. He made this remark while speaking at a public rally held in Kegalle recently. Minister Dallas Alahaperuma said that the student in school in remote area refrain from entering into schools in urban area, understanding that they can enroll into universities easily from their schools in rural areas. He said that the government will grant an allowance for teachers who opt to be stationed in schools in rural and remote areas apart from the salary. The minister said that in the order to restructure the entire education system in the country, cabinet decision and other relevant decision will be made as per President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to convert 19 teacher training institutions in the country into university faculties. He said that these teachers will receive a degree certificate along with the relevant training. He added by 2027, teacher service system will be fully consist of trained graduate teachers.
The health authorities have requested the public to take adequate precautionary measures to protect from the prevailing extreme sun rays at present. Various complications may arise from being exposed to the sun rays. These were highlighted in a series of recommendations directed by the Family Health Bureau for students. Stress and tension, muscle spasms, fainting and the escalation of hereditary diseases such as heart and lung diseases may occur due to intensified sun exposure. Children have been identified as the most vulnerable group to be exposed to such complications. The recommendations of the health authorities include drinking water consistently, refrain from consuming high-sugar drinks, wearing a cap or hat when staying outdoors, and avoiding unnecessary loitering in outdoors. The health authorities have also advised to refrain from engaging in outdoor exercises during the daytime from 11 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. The Attorney General has re-instructed Acting IGP Chandana Wickramaratne to invoke the judicial process on High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya within today. The AG has also instructed to make submissions on this regard to the Nugegoda Magistrates Court. Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira instructed Acting IGP Chandana Wickramaratne recently to make necessary submissions and open litigations against High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya within the courts. It was in connection to the controversial telephone conversations between High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya and parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayaka. The Acting IGP has directed a letter on this regard to the Attorney General yesterday. In the letter, he had pointed out that the investigations have not determined the judicial authority limit under which the controversial telephone conversation has occurred between the suspects. However, the Attorney General has pointed out that one of the statements made by High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya has clearly revealed on the judicial authority limit. Accordingly, the Attorney General has instructed the Acting IGP under the instructions directed on 23rd of January to make submissions to the Nugegoda Magistrates Court and to invoke the judicial process on High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya within today.
We continue with more local stories. The government notifies that the applicants should be certified to be unemployed for over a year after the graduation under the program to provide unemployment opportunities for unemployed graduates. Grama Niladhari and the Divisional Secretary should certify that the applicants to be permanent resident of the area from which they submit the applications. The program has been initiated under the President's policy statement Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor. Prospective candidates must have completed a degree or diploma program recognized by the University Grants Commission before December 31, 2019. The Grama Niladhari and Divisional Secretary should certify that they have been unemployed for a year after graduating as on December 31, 2019. The application can be downloaded from www.presidentsoffice.lk website. Duly completed application forms with a photocopy of degree or diploma certificate and detailed result sheet certified copies of original document attested by Justice of Peace or by an attorney at law should be submitted. Application should be forwarded to the program to provide job for unemployed graduates and diploma holders 2020 Corporate Management and Coordination Division, Presidential Secretary, Golface, Columbo 1.
The new administration building and the hostel of the Hardy Technological College in Ampara was vested with the studentship under the patronage of Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The new buildings were constructed at a cost of 394 million rupees. The new administration building was constructed at an expenditure of 304.79 million rupees. The building consists of all necessary facilities including 12 classrooms, 3 workshops, 3 lecture halls, audiovisual auditorium and a conference hall. The hostel was built at a cost of 89.1 million rupees. The minister observed the educational activities of the students engaging in their computer technology courses. Parliamentarian Shriyani Vijay Vikrama was also present on this occasion. Meanwhile, the newly constructed Japanese language training center in Samanture was declared open today under the patronage of Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. 250 students are expected to receive Japanese language training under the first phase of the program.
The inaugural ceremony of the South Asian Regional Youth Conference and Workshop was held yesterday. The South Asian Regional Youth Conference and Workshop is taking place under the theme Prevention of Violent Extremism Through Education 2020. The South Asian Youth Conference and Workshop, which was commenced yesterday, will be held till February 16th in Colombo. The inauguration ceremony was held under the patronage of Chief Guest Minister Dallas Alahaperuma. The conference have been organized by Sri Lanka National Commission for UNESCO with the partnership of UNESCO Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Education for Peace and Sustainable Development, India and United Nations Alliance of Civilizations. Representatives from South Asian countries including Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan and Sri Lanka are taking part in this event.
Several groups of unemployed individuals in several fields whom were recruited following inappropriate procedures during the good government period engaged in protests today. The protests were organized at the agitation site reserved in front of the Presidential Secretariat. The individuals who lost their employments in the Housing Development Authority were engaged in the protest at the agitation site today. They were dispersed after promising to provide a discussion on this regard tomorrow. Another protest was organized with the participation of the members of the All Ceylon Project Assistance Collective. They were also dispersed after promising to provide a meeting to discuss their concerns. The protest organized by Welfare Society of Department of Archaeology was held for a long period of time. They remained at the protest site until they were also given a date for a discussion. A massive protest was directed by the protesters at parliamentarian Nalin Bandara when he arrived to the site. Meanwhile, remarks were made over the protests at the media briefing held by National Freedom Front today. Media spokesman of National Freedom Front, Mohammad Muzammil, said that the majority of the protesters have received jobs from the United National Party without following necessary protocols. He said that opposition leader Sajid Premadasa had recruited more than 3,000 personnel into the Housing Authority as trainees. He said that the relevant ministers of the previous government deceived these personnel by recruiting them on contract and training basis into state departments, including the Department of Archaeology. He said that these demonstrations have instigated owing to the procedures undertaken by the United National Party.
Defense authorities have said that 6,272 personnel, including officers, have reported to service during the common amnesty period given for the tri-forces. The common amnesty period was declared under the directive of the President, marking the country's 72nd Independence Day. The 7-day amnesty period set to conclude tomorrow. Sri Lanka Army spokesman Brigadier Chandana Wickramasinghe said that during the past 6 days, 6 Sri Lankan Army officers and 4,028 other personnel, 707 Sri Lankan Navy personnel and 7 Sri Lankan Air Force officers and 1,024 personnel reported for duty. He said that personnel of tri-forces who left the service in an illegal manner can report back to service at the nearest army base, or according to their requirement, they can quit from service after clearing their final clearances. He said that they should be encouraged by the relatives and others to take necessary decision without any further delays, which could reflect in a disadvantageous manner on them.
Columbo High Court ordered today to commence the hearing of the case filed by the Attorney General against former parliamentarian Sajin Divas Gunawardena on the 25th of February. The case has been filed charging that the suspect former MP Sajin Divas Gunawardena has committed an offence under the Money Laundering Act by allegedly earning assets more than 300 million rupees through illegal means during his tenure as a parliamentarian. The summons was issued today to the witness to appear before the court on the day of the hearing to submit their evidences. That's all the stories we have for you tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.